Get ready, it's time for Motorsports Madness, powered by the staff at Race Chaser Online. Your motorsports, your way, every day. And now, here's your host, Jacob Seelman.
That would be me, and that's the point where I turn here and look at the camera, which is now back in the corner of the room, which is going to throw me off for the next 2 hours, and say, hi, guys. Welcome to Motorsports Madness. I'm joined at the no longer round table by...
It's not even the same table. It was always the shape.
No, it's just a shape. It's a different shape.
Rectangular table.
Yeah. Tom is a shape, but he's less of a shape.
Round. I am round.
Yeah.
And round is a shape.
You're less round than you used to be. But
that is correct,
We'll
yes.
stop talking about shapes and we'll start talking about race cars and race car drivers because we have a returning race car driver with us at the table. Say hi to the camera, Christian, because it wasn't here last time you were here.
Hey.
Christian won something over the weekend.
Yeah, he kind of sort of earned his way back onto the show by virtue of a win in the ARCA Racing Series at Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis. You kind of sort of smoked him in that race, just a little bit. I would say you went and basically took all the kids' lunch money and went home.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of money for next lunch after that one. Yeah, it was a really cool team effort. Between me, Kevin Reed, and all my guys. We really worked on a great race car at the test, which seemed like forever ago after the rain out and everything. But we all did a great job, and everybody executed, and we were able to come home with a good finish like that.
That was certainly what I know made that whole race peculiar because it was rain postponed for almost an entire month, and we will talk more with Christian about that coming up as the show continues here. We're also going to chat about the upcoming race weekend in Talladega. I did that because the drivers are scared, Tom. They're scared.
Not as scared as they were of the Roval.
No, not quite as scared as they were of the Roval. But they're
Talladega
still
is a known evil.
This is a true statement, and we'll talk about some of the drivers who may be able to conquer that known evil coming up as well. And also, Splitsville for Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. Milk and cookies couldn't save them this time.
Breaks my heart.
That breaking news. It breaks a lot of people's hearts, Christian. So we'll have all that coming up as this show rolls on. Right now, we're going to roll away to our first break. You're listening to Motorsports Madness, and we'll be back right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
I'm Kaz Gralla, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
And I believe that's our cue to start talking again. So welcome back to Motorsports Madness on Race Chaser Radio. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, and Christian Eckes at the table tonight talking racing. And right now we're going to talk about Christian's ARCA Racing Series win. But before I do that, I would be remiss if I didn't also say hi back in the text shed to Randy Miller and Cisco Scaramuzza, who are both punching buttons at the moment. Hi, guys. Hi.
Yeah, Cisco is punching video buttons, and Randy is punching audio buttons, and both of them are keeping us within the rules so we don't fail.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that. We make it difficult for them, as it is. ARCA, Indianapolis, and Christian blowing the field away a little bit. You obviously have found success in the ARCA car in the past, but it seems like this year, and particularly, you mentioned the test that went into getting ready for this race, and I have to believe that was pretty important into coming back and really showing these guys what you could do over the weekend. It seems like you were able to translate quite a bit from the speed that you showed in the test to the speed that you showed on race day.
Yeah, to be honest with you, even our test wasn't as good as how we...
Tom, you might want to... Tom,
what's that?
Tom's going to fix Christian's microphone because it's deciding to...
Something not working there?
No.
Oh, try it again, Christian.
I still don't have him in my head.
Oh,
Hashtag technology issue.
Technology. Okay. Talk quietly amongst yourselves. I will fix a headset.
All right. So while they're talking quietly amongst themselves and making that accomplish, I'll go back to talking about Christian's season a little bit because it's kind of sort of been a little bit good. Yeah, as Christian fist pumps for the
Got
camera.
Me now? Oh, I think I'm back.
That's
I'm
better.
Back. So you were saying the test. The test was the test went really well, but to be honest with you, when we showed up for the race, we were faster. Like I said, Kevin and all my guys prepared a great race car. It's taken a little bit, honestly, for me and Kevin to really click. But here at the end of the year, we definitely got in our strides, and I felt like we should have won really all of our last races. The ARCA Racing Series is so hard to win, and just you have to have everything go your way. And but overall, I mean, it's been a great season. 3 wins, 2 poles. So not bad.
All right, so that's the point that I want to make, Tom, because he mentions we should have had a few more wins, and yet he's got 3 wins at 3 very historic racetracks. One at Salem, a win on the dirt at Springfield, and he's not a dirt guy, and one at IRP. That's a pretty good record of tracks, if you ask me, to take trophies home from.
It definitely is. And the thing that impresses me the most about Christian is whenever he gets in that car, it seems like that car in general has been fast, and Venturini Motorsports has been fast. I was just saying to Christian during the break, if they had either him or Michael or Chandler Smith, if they could have run full time and put that effort out there, MDM Motorsports would have had a good run for their money for the championship, absolutely. I think, because as good as Sheldon Creed did, Venturini Motorsports, whenever one of those 3 were in the car, was
really
was
good.
Just as good or better. So really a good season for him, and happy to see that.
Led 171 of 200 laps, I think,
yeah.
Christian.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
It's impressive. And I think, to me, that's what's so impressive about the fact you haven't run but these 13 races, and yet you had 3 wins already, and you yourself said what, probably 2 or 3 more that you should have won?
Yeah, when we went to DeCoin, I felt like we had the best car there. Track position was just so key. Berlin, we were leading when we ended up getting wrecked there. So, and then there was a few earlier on in the year that I felt like we just didn't capitalize on our mistakes, and unfortunately, weren't able to close the victory there. But overall, it's been a great year for the 15 car with Michael winning Daytona, Chicago, and he still has another one left at Kansas here. Hopefully, he can win that, and then Chandler winning Madison, and we won Salem, Springfield, and Ironton.
So, kind of adjusting a little bit, because in addition to the ARCA car this year, you also had and still have 2 more truck races. You've had 2 already. You'll have 2 more. What was it like for you this year adjusting to the truck from what you've been used to in the ARCA car? And I know a big thing that you said to me earlier in the year after the first one was learning the air was a really big key for you.
Yeah, I mean, the air is a pretty big deal, especially when you go truck racing. But, the biggest thing really is that, it's all different guys. I kind of struggled with that in the ARCA Racing Series this year with Kevin and everybody. And, thankfully we've gotten together really well, and, it should work together great in the future. But, it's a whole different team with the truck series. So just getting to know them, and, we've showed a lot of success at Gateway, and hopefully that can carry on to Martinsville, Phoenix.
How do you grade those first 2 truck races? You mentioned Gateway in particular, where you won the second stage, and honestly, I felt like had it not been for some of the circumstances that were out of your control, I felt like you guys had a shot to win that race.
Yeah, we had a really fast race truck, I guess it is.
Hey, he got it right, Tom. Truck.
Yeah, I made sure I got it right. We led the first practice I ever had at the racetrack, and I think we were, like 3rd or 4th, and final practice, qualified 2nd. I felt like we honestly should have won stage 1. I just didn't capitalize hard enough, and we won stage 2, and we got wrecked 2 laps into stage 3. So, I definitely thought we would have had a shot, if not, almost a guaranteed win there. We just had such a good truck that it was really into my hands, and we just had to not screw it up to be able to do it.
Tom, when you look at drivers who have made the transition between ARCA and the truck series, Christian obviously comes to mind as one who's done it pretty successfully. His Toyota teammate Harrison Burton is another one who I feel like has really proven a penchant for that. It seems like more and more we're seeing drivers who really have worked up that skill set to be able to be good at both, and I think that says a lot.
Well, it does. I mean, it's because it's different. I mean, the trucks are a very different thing from an ARCA car. I think the ARCA cars would almost play more into the Xfinity style of racing and driving than to the truck series. And Christian really has done a great job adapting. And there have been obviously a number of drivers that have taken that step. I think it's great to be able to do that. ARCA gives you some great super speedway experience before you ever get to a truck. And then when you do start in the truck series, I think you're more prepared. Certainly Christian in the first couple of races he's run has been great. And, that was kind of heartbreaking, Christian, to see you get crashed the way you did, because I really feel like you were on track to maybe win that race, and that would have been just amazing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of heartbreaking there.
Kind of a...
I cried for 3 days after that, just 3 days straight.
Well, I mean, it felt like a snowball derby moment in the making there that just wasn't your time, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's part of this big-time motor race.
Yeah.
But it's always fun. We were able to lead laps and both my truck starts, so hopefully that'll carry on to Phoenix and Martinsville.
For sure.
Bring them away and hopefully both of them.
All right, so real quickly here, what are your expectations going into Martinsville?
Actually, funny story.
Oh, boy.
So, there was 3 races at the end of 2016 I won the Myrtle Beach 400, which was a different car than the next two races. And then I won the next two races, which were in a different car, which in this case would be a truck.
Yes.
Could be 3 in a row.
Could be 3 in a row. It is very possible. I like his way of thinking for this here. Actually, the whole 3 in a row thought by changing cars may, that could prove to be prophetic, possibly. Tom's gonna get ready to play Tech Savvy, or maybe I will when we go to this next commercial break, and we'll see. I think I have a little bit more for you, so we'll see if we can get Christian to stick around for a few more minutes. And when we return with Motorsports Madness, gosh, who knows what all we'll get into. So stick with us. You're listening to the show on Race Chaser Radio and all of our many platforms, and we will be back in just a moment.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
Hi, I'm Chase Cabry, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now, back to the show.
All right. Welcome back to Race Chaser Radio's Motorsports Madness. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Christian Eckes, right now at the table that used to be round but isn't. And back in the tech shed are Cisco Scaramuza and Randy Miller punching buttons. And we have been talking to Christian about ARCA and trucks and all the fun different things that you've been doing this year. And I think one of the things that we were talking about just before we went on air that I was actually really bummed about is the fact that even though you're a former champion of the race, that you don't have a car to go down and run the Snowball Derby this year.
No, I don't. Very sad. Very, very sad. Oh, there we go. Is that good?
That's good. Yeah,
you're better.
Yep.
Somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, it's it kind of stinks, to be honest with you. Like you said, we won it 2 years ago, and now we're not going to be able to go. So, it's unfortunate, but hopefully I'll be able to find something by the end of the next couple months.
I'm going to let Tom give you his headset. We're going to play equipment exchange. The hazards of live radio. Sometimes things are on the fritz, and we just kind of have to deal with it as we go. So, this season, obviously, plenty of ups in the ARCA car. Some hot ups and downs. Ups and downs.
There were some downs.
More ups lately.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the downs for a minute, even though I know as race car drivers you try to have a short memory with those. What do you feel like has been the struggle this year?
What do we feel like is a struggle this year? Really just not capitalizing on things we needed to capitalize on, to be honest with you. There's just a lot of opportunities that we had that we just, I feel like I keep saying capitalize, but we just, we weren't able to do it. We won 3 races, but we really should have won about 5 or 6 if you really look at it. But that's what keeps you driving. All the shoulda, coulda, wouldas just keeps you driving to get better. And the losses definitely hurt, but you need to move on to the next one and make those the wins.
This cameo appearance brought to you by Cisco Scaramuza and Butler University. I believe we just solved our mic problem by rewiring a microphone for Tom. Something like that. For now. Maybe. For now. All right. So you mentioned earlier that your goals are somewhat high for Martinsville and Phoenix, and I would imagine you're a short track kid, so obviously that bodes well. It's less aero and more what you're used to. After Gateway, are you feeling that you have the potential for a win in the truck in one of these last 2 races?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of faith and confidence in the number 46 team as well as Kyle Busch Motorsports. I think their record stands for themselves, and really to be able to run as good as we did at Gateway with only my second start and really a limited number of starts as far as the year in general. It gives you a lot of confidence going into both races. Luckily I'll be able to have some sim time and get ready as best as I can, and I haven't been in either, so it's we're very looking forward to it.
I know for you this whole year has been a great opportunity. How big has it been for you to step up to this level, to have the support you've had from Toyota and TRD, and really start to take the next steps here?
Yeah, it's big. I couldn't do it without TRD and Toyota support. They've really helped me a lot this year in performing, or not really performing, but performing. Really just getting me to the next level. I really wasn't happy with my performance last year. We had some solid runs, but no wins, and that's just it's hard not to go a full year without winning. It's really tough, and to be able to finally get past that this year really just opens the door up for just constant winning. Every time both teams show up to the racetrack, we all want the same thing, and we all want to win. And if we could win every single race, it'd be nice. But
that's not how it works.
Just not feasible sometimes.
Especially in a series like the ARCA series. I mean, between MDM and Venturini alone, not even counting all of the other teams that race, you've got anywhere from 5 to 7 competitive cars that could win at any given track on any given day when everybody's in action and the right drivers are in the cars. But you have to be pleased overall with the way that you perform both in the ARCA car and in the truck just on a performance basis, you can't always control the results, but you have to be pleased with your season so far.
Yeah, it hasn't been bad. Like I said, what drives me is that I could have, should have, would have been better. There's always room for improvement, and I still feel like I haven't reached my potential or even close to it yet. So, it's just constant hard work and dedication to the sport that is going to help me get there. But how we ran at Lucas Oil is, I feel, how we should run it every racetrack, but better. So, there's a lot of motivation within my camp as well as KBM. So, we're really looking forward to the rest of the races I got.
Now, what constitutes hard work for you? What's a typical week for Christian Eckes? How much training do you do? How much sim time do you do? How do you prepare from week to week to stay sharp?
Really just, film is just the biggest thing. You watch film, you can see what different people are doing different than you. It's one big thing that I like to do is study other drivers. If you can get information out of them and see where their strengths and weaknesses are, you can help yourself by getting your strengths and weaknesses to be better than theirs. There's a lot of things you can do, and as well as training and exercise and everything to get to where you need to be. But I think the biggest thing is just really hard work on film and studying notes and everything like that.
Do you have a trainer that you specifically work with on that side of it, or is that something that one of the teams or the other involves you with?
Yes, I have a personal trainer. I go about 4 or 5 times a week, and it's not very fun, but it helps.
It's not supposed to be fun.
It helps in the race car, so that's all that matters.
Who do you train with?
It's a secret.
Ah, okay.
It's secretive.
I see.
Top secret.
Okay.
So we'll play teaser here for a minute, kind of like the announcement that's coming next week that you're not allowed to talk about yet?
Yeah, the announcement that may or may not or maybe happen next week or this week, or I don't know.
Coming soon.
I don't know. Maybe there isn't even an announcement. I don't know where you got that from, Jacob. I mean, there might not even be.
I don't know where you got it from either. I didn't hear anything. So you showed me an interesting picture earlier. You used to play tuba.
Yes, I did.
How
play
long
tuba.
did you play tuba for?
Too long.
Too long.
Too long.
Did you go into high school with it or?
No, I didn't. I did it for 1 or 2 years, and that was too long.
Because for those of you who haven't seen it, you need to go to either at Christian Eckes on Twitter.
It's a ways down. You won't find it.
Yeah, go look up.
Go digging.
Yeah, go digging. It's worth scrolling down the JBL spot that Christian did with Harrison Burton and their version of All or Nothing at All.
Wow.
It's Making Love Out of Nothing at All, whatever, from back in the 70s. It's interesting.
If you're going to plug the video, get the song
version.
Right at least.
Well, see, that was part of it, was guessing the title, and I actually guessed completely the wrong song.
It's Making Love Out of Nothing at All, and it was very romantic between me and Harrison, just so you know. Very.
Yeah, especially when he nearly knocked your headset off.
Yeah.
His hand motions were
His hand motions were priceless.
I wasn't sure if he was trying to sing it or direct it. He was like
isn't a bromance, I don't know what is.
That was definitely bromance, yes.
That was a bromance.
Yes.
All right, so that kind of alludes to a question that popped into my head a few minutes ago.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know, that's scary, right? All of you that are in the Toyota pipeline at the level you're at right now, you, Harrison, Zane, you're all relatively close in age, and it seems like as much competitiveness as there is on the track. I mean, how do you guys balance that with as much fun as you guys have off the racetrack? Because there are some pretty crazy things that tend to happen on social media with all of you guys.
Yeah, being Toyota teammates, it's good. We get to push each other on the racetrack and as well as in the gym. We all work out together, and we're all in this together. We're all trying to make it. Speaking of Harrison, he's calling me right now. We're all trying to do the same thing. So it's good to have those people that can push you, and you can push them back. So it's good to have people like Harrison and Todd and people like that.
Well, next time, tell him not to interrupt your live radio spot.
Yeah,
if we had more time, I would have said put them on speaker. We
yeah,
could have
exactly.
had some fun,
I know. If we
didn't
have 30 seconds to a break, we would have pulled that off. Next time, though. Next time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we'll get Christian to sign the
Yes.
wall when we come back on the
Yes,
other side
we
of
will.
the break
We
before
will.
he leaves.
Before he leaves, we'll get him to sign the wall. So we're going to do a little bit of business right here when we return. We'll let Christian loose after he signs the wall behind us. You're listening to Race Chaser Radio's Motorsports Madness, and we're back in a moment.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Oh, welcome back to the madness. It has been crazy already. Tonight, Christian Eckes joins us in studio. I'm Jacob Seelman. He's Tom Baker. That's Christian, but by the hat and all the Toyota stuff, you probably already knew that if you've been paying attention for the first little bit. And before we let Christian get out of here, we're going to let him pick up that little Sharpie marker on the table. And we're going to, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to have you sign the Wall of Fame, Christian. So Christian's going to do that and become the second driver to adorn the Wall of Fame.
It's very easy.
Very interesting signature. It's basically CE.
Yeah.
Yes.
15.
It makes it easy.
Yeah.
It's very quick.
You could be a doctor with that signature.
It looks nice. I mean, it's a well-written CE.
I didn't say it didn't look nice. I'm just saying you could be a doctor because usually about all you get, the first letter of the first and last name is about all that's legible in a doctor's signature. Anyways, I should know. I should know. My mom is one. So
I'm going to tell her you insulted her signature.
Wow.
She won't feed you for a week.
Why you got to do that to your mom, man?
Oh, dissing his mom on the air. Well, you certainly are going to have some fun coming up with the last couple of truck starts that you're going to make. Martinsville, I know, I'm sure you're looking forward to that one. Do you feel like, at this point, I'm sure you feel like you're going into this, you could win either one of those, right? I mean, you're going there to win the race.
Yeah, absolutely. You show up to win every race, but, really the momentum that I've built over the past, 4 or 5 races has really led into hopefully a great 2 runs at Martinsville Phoenix. And but the biggest thing in all racing is just got to execute. I have to control what I can control, and my crew chief needs to control what he can control, and just gonna have to let it go from there. It's a big chess game, and got to hit everything right.
Okay. I will admit I poked the bear just a minute ago, and I did alert because for those who were paying attention a minute ago, Harrison Burton called Christian in the middle of the last segment, and I just told Harrison that if he had called 3 minutes sooner, he would have landed on air. He says, "Dang, I need to try harder next time."
See, if he would have been listening to the show, he would have known, and then he could have called in time for us to surprise ambush him and put him on speaker and see if we could get the duo going for one more version of Making Love Out of Nothing at All. Well,
boy.
Christian, I know that you got a date with Grey's Anatomy.
Yes,
I
do.
So we want to make sure we get you out of here in time to watch that. So we appreciate you coming in and talking to us, and certainly wish you all the best in your next 2 truck starts. We're definitely pulling for you for sure.
All right, man. Thanks.
That's
go
Christian
watch some Grey's
Eckes,
Anatomy.
and he's going to go watch Grey's Anatomy. We're going to swap positions here. We'll get Cisco to sit down.
Yeah, and maybe
and we'll have some conversation with Cisco, and wish Christian all the luck in the world as he heads off to Martinsville next weekend to make his next start for KBM
2 weeks.
in the
2
Truck
weeks.
Series. Well, that's why I said next, not this.
Next
next.
start.
No.
He said next start, not next week. He's okay.
He did say well, no, it's not even next weekend. It's the end. It's a full 2 weeks from now, Tom.
Okay.
You've got Kansas with Cup and Xfinity
That's right.
before we go to Martinsville.
Kansas is before Martinsville. That's right.
Yeah.
I had the weekend.
It's okay. Also, hi Cisco.
Before October's over,
yes,
Martinsville will happen.
Correct.
Okay, so
We've got
Cisco
Cisco now,
Scaramouza
finally.
he's usually on with us
in the
via
interwebs.
Yes.
Skype line,
in the interwebs, but he's here
in studio tonight. Glad to have you with us. And
okay, so I'll be the one to ask the stupid question since apparently I missed the memo. Why are you here?
So this weekend, the Rodney Cook Memorial will be taking place at Ace Speedway, and it's being billed as, well, the Martinsville rematch, because it kind of is at this point. So a lot of the guys that we saw race over in Martinsville for the big late model race that was out there, they're going to be running Ace this weekend. So Pit Row TV will be there, and you can catch the whole broadcast there Saturday and possibly Friday, Saturday. I'm here. I don't know yet.
There are only
definitely Saturday.
Yes.
So tune in.
There are only 4 words that you need to know when it comes to this race this weekend. Tom, we talked about this back when it first happened.
Which 4?
Lane Riggs, Peyton Sellers.
Yeah.
Those are the only 4 words you need to know.
Well, I suspect that, it's Ace Speedway. For those of you who aren't familiar, Ace, the bowl that I ate Fruit Loops out of this morning is bigger than Ace Speedway.
Yes.
So what you saw at Martinsville on a half mile, this is not a half mile. So I think we certainly are going to see a few fenders bendered in this one before it's over. And, as Cisco said, I think it's going to be a bit of a Martinsville rematch. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here as we get into this event, because this is always this is an event that people look forward to every year. Rodney Cook it was very, very important to the Ace Speedway community, and this is a big deal to have this event there, and it's one that everybody wants to win for their own reason.
Absolutely. Now, another race that everybody wants to win for their own reason would be the one that's happening on Sunday, and it's not just because we're talking about the playoffs, but it's Talladega.
Yes.
And everybody wants to win Talladega, and the good news here is, well, anybody pretty much can win Talladega.
Well, yes, but can we safely assume that in the remaining races of the 2018 season, we know one team that has now a little extra incentive to try to get back to victory lane and go out with at least one more win? Because we did have,
I wonder,
this sort of breaking news yesterday that basically broke the internet.
You You didn't even let me do the voice.
I just said, go ahead and do it.
Breaking news.
Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson are splitting up.
Breakup.
I don't know.
Parting.
I thought Grey's Anatomy was after this.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
was wondering if we did a poll, which would be the breakup that the fans were sadder to see, Chad and Jimmy or Ricky and Danica. But at any rate, they're 17.
Did you really just go
seasons?
there?
Yes, I did.
Yes,
And you should have known
17
I would do that.
years.
17 years for Chad and Jimmy. And
as Chad Knaus said earlier today, hey, we lasted longer than the average of most marriages in the
Well,
U.S.
That's very true, sadly. But look, me personally, I think it was time. And it's
absolutely it was time.
For me, it has nothing to do with either one of them having diminishing abilities or skills or knowledge or anything like that. Sometimes you just get to a point in any kind of a partnership or relationship where it just peaks and it plateaus.
It gets stagnant.
And and especially in this sport where technology changes so quickly and sometimes you just sort of lose your way.
Yes.
And
I'd
you
agree.
make the change in order to spark the
new ideas,
the
new
business
growth.
again. Yes,
Yeah.
the team. And so Chad's going over to take over for William Byron. And, that's going to be certainly great for William because the wealth of knowledge, Cisco, that Chad has accumulated in this sport is certainly going to be helpful to William as he tries to make that step into competing for wins every week. And Kevin Meendering coming into crew chief the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, as far as I'm concerned, this is a great pick because I think Kevin's ready for this, and I think his ideas and the things he brings to Jimmy hopefully will spark that team a little bit too. And this will turn out to be a positive thing for basically half of Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big shakeup, and that means everybody's going to be, a little more pep in their step. They got to reinvent themselves a little bit, change things up, and that usually means things are going to get a little bit better. So I'm excited for that. And Jacob, this reminds me a little bit of back in the old days when Scott Zipadelli and Tony Stewart split up. After that whole split, when he ended up moving away. This reminds me a lot of that because...
Wait, Greg Zipadelli.
Greg Zipadelli, not Scott Zipadelli.
Wrong Zipadelli.
Wrong one. But,
Fake news.
But nonetheless, a driver and a crew chief who had been together for a long time. But let's keep in mind, 17 years, is that the longest in the modern era, at least, of crew chief and driver combination, if not one of the longest in NASCAR history and probably in motorsports history, to be honest, because I can seldom think of another group in the motorsports sphere as a whole that had their primary team engineer and driver together for as long as Chad and Jimmy were.
Yeah, no, certainly in the modern era, the kind of run and the longevity that they had is unprecedented from all sides. Now, Inman Petty, as the Richard Petty Motorsports Twitter account noted a little while ago, was the original standard for driver-crew chief relationships.
You're right.
But no, Chad and Jimmy have defined the modern era driver-crew chief relationship. And I personal opinion here, but I honestly don't believe that you'll see that kind of a driver-crew chief relationship over almost 2 decades again. I just don't think now the business is, and I don't think the sport is in a place now where unless you just really get that magic, I don't see that kind of a lengthy pairing being possible again because the sport is changing so consistently. And there's so much now even that was different than when Chad and Jimmy came into it in 2002. So I really do believe that we'll look back on this in 15 or 20 years and go, wow, they did that when. Kind of like what we have with Dale Inman and Richard Petty. We look back on that run now that they went on and go, wow, they did that back then.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know. I don't know if I totally agree with that. I think,
you think we could see another 17-year run between drivers?
It depends. I mean, if these younger drivers coming in, it depends how long they want to stay with it. But I certainly could. I mean, if you look at, for example, Ryan Blaney and Jeremy Bullins, that's been, already what, 3 3, I think, this third year.
3 in Cup, yeah.
You know, so
and 2 before that in Xfinity. So.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not as if it can't happen if it's a younger driver and a young enough crew chief to stay around that long. I certainly think you could see it. You know, but it certainly is the exception, I think, rather than the norm. And I think it's been that way all along because drivers move around enough with enough frequency now in this modern era that you just don't see the team alliances lasting. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily the driver crew chief. It's just, you know, both driver and crew chief tend to move around a little bit more. So you just don't see that. But if you think about this, Jacob, boy, for Hendrick Motorsports, they had Evernham and Gordon, and then, you know, now you have Johnson and Canales. I mean, 2 of the all-time great crew chief driver pairings in the history of the sport, one organization.
Rick is very good at that. And somebody asked Jimmy what made this not repairable, and Jimmy's quick response was, I think if you're smart enough, you can sense that it's not that things are broken. And that's something I completely agree with. Now, we have a couple of minutes when we come back out of this next commercial break where there's one more thing that I want to discuss when it comes to Chad Knaus, because this shakeup allows him actually to go back home at Hendrick Motorsports. And if you don't know what I mean by that, well, stay tuned and we'll tell you exactly what that story has to do with this right after this. This is Race Chaser Radio's Motorsports Madness, and we're back in just a moment.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend. My brother. My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father. My husband. My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver William Byron. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
that is just way too appropriate for the point I want to make in this short segment. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Cisco Scaramuza, talking racing on Race Chaser Radio's Motorsports Madness, and the driver that Chad Knaus is going to crew chief, bringing us back from break. And Chad Knaus going back, Cisco, to where he started at Hendrick Motorsports because he was on Jeff Gordon's 24 car before he became known as being Jimmy Johnson's crew chief. Quote, "You have no idea how invigorating this is for me. I'm so geeked up by it. I have goosebumps when I think about it," referring to the fact that he's going to be on the 24 car. This is like Chad Knaus in a candy store.
Did you guys remember the documentary that I think Fox made a couple of years ago about the 24 during the Daytona time when he won?
Yes.
That race, there was one scene in that where it was a very, very, very young Chad Knaus who at the time was on the pit crew of the 24, because I believe he was a tire carrier, if I remember correctly.
I think that's how he started.
Yes, carrier or changer. Yeah, carrier.
Yeah.
I think he was a carrier.
But either way, he was on the pit crew.
He was doing something with a tire.
Exactly.
Yes. And the fact now that he is back with the 24 team, I love this, Tom. I love everything about this. And I love this for William Byron because I think we're going to see some real potential out of that team and out of that driver next year. Putting a veteran like Chad with somebody who's learning like William, boy, do I love this.
Well, I do too. And you know, Chad has a very specific way that he likes to do things. And I think pairing him with William will work well because William hasn't been around long enough to have his own way of really doing things yet. So I think William will be very coachable and very moldable to what Chad wants out of him. And I actually believe that he'll do very well under Chad's guidance. I think that will elevate Williams' performance in a way that we need. And not to say that Darian Grubb wasn't good, but again to say that I think Chad's experience base and the fact that he took a much greener driver in Jimmy Johnson when he got to Cup than William is, I believe, right now, and made a 7-time champion out of him. I like Williams' chances here. And Kevin Mendering, I think is going to be great for Jimmy because, again, little different system, little different food for thought there. I think him and Jimmy will establish a good relationship.
Absolutely. And, I loved the question earlier. If the 48 and the 24 make it to the championship 4, what happens then? And Chad Knaus was perfect. He says, we win. Not only do they win as an organization in that moment because Rick Hendrick looks like a genius, but then, of course, if you're Chad Knaus, we win, meaning the 24 team.
It's a win-win, and I mean, Chad goes back to, he has to start from the bottom, but he still has all his Chadisms to fall back on.
Chadisms, I like that.
And Jimmy gets to teach a new crew chief, new in this role, just, what it takes to be that top level of the pack. What does he need as a driver to be able to get the best out of his automobile?
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, so we're going to, again, step aside when we return. We got lots more Motorsports Madness to deal with on Race Chaser Radio. Stick around, the second half in just a moment.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
If you're a gearhead and you just can't get enough of your favorite motorsports on that channel on the cable, or you look at that Guy network and you just go, what does that have to do with me? We have the answer. Performance Motorsports Network. Right here on the internet. The best cruising tunes, the best in motorsports programming, and the best shows. We have opinionated hosts, and we like it that way. If you want to get involved, if you want to bench race, be listening for information coming up soon right here on this channel, the Performance Motorsports Network. Your source for motorsports.
I'm an HRA Pro Stock Racer, Tanner Gray, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
That was also conveniently placed because we're going to spend a good portion of our second half of the show tonight talking about what else? Drag racing, as Tanner Gray alluded to. Welcome back to Motorsports Madness on Race Chaser Radio. Jacob Seelman, Cisco Scaramuza, Tom Baker talking motorsports tonight. Randy Miller's back in the tech shed punching buttons and keeping us mostly on track here, which is good. The Carolina Nationals, NHRA's back in town, Tom. I am pumped. I am excited. Let's go.
Let's go already. I mean, this is really, and you know what? For those who don't know, we tape this show, where we record the show live on Thursday nights, and we had the remnants from Hurricane Michael go through here earlier. What's coming behind this for the 3 days of NHRA racing at Charlotte? 70s for high temperatures and nothing but sun with low humidity. It literally is going to be a perfect weekend for NHRA at the ZMAX Dragway at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And this event, because it's a part of the NHRA playoffs, is just always an event that you don't want to miss. It is one of the most exciting times of my season to be able to go and watch these guys and girls run, and we certainly are going to have, I think, an interesting matchup this weekend because we've seen a lot of different winners this year and some real upsets in some of these divisions as to who's leading the points and who looks like they're on the way to the championship.
Hang on a minute. Steve Torrence is not an upset.
Well, Steve wouldn't be an upset, but there are a few others, but what Steve is a delight. I mean, you're not necessarily, he wouldn't be the first person anybody would think of, but let me tell you, Steve Torrence is definitely a driver that I think everybody should respect. And he has been so much fun this year to watch do well.
It's
and the
great.
interviews are just classic.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I love about Steve Torrence. He's unfiltered, and you get what you get.
Yes.
Absolutely. And the fact that he's won 6 times and he won 8 times prior to that, 14 wins over the last 2 years, just missed out on the championship to Brittany Force. Steve Torrence deserves a championship, and I hope he gets it this year. We'll talk more NHRA on the other side of this break. So stick around. This is Motorsports Madness on Race Chaser Radio, and we are back after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend. My brother. My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication, but it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a Cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Matt Tift, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
There. Cisco doesn't have a headset to hear his own trombones.
I heard it, but I had to run back in, so I didn't get time to do it.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
So, this is Motorsports Madness. He's Cisco Scaramuza. I'm Jacob Seelman. That's Tom Baker because, well, I just felt like doing it from left to right for a change. Shake things up a little bit. And we're talking NHRA straightliners right now, and the fact that normally, we are talking about NHRA and Charlotte being the opening to the countdown to the championship playoffs. However, this year, it's race 4 of 6.
Yep.
It's the start of the second half of the playoffs, which I think is a lot bigger deal, Tom, than maybe people are making it. And you mentioned earlier the conditions are going to be tremendous this weekend. I think we could be talking about potential national record temperature, not just temperatures, but conditions all the way around that for some huge numbers this weekend.
Well, I think so too. That's why I was saying. I mean, we've had 90-degree temperatures right up until the last couple of days here.
Yes.
So we've hung on to summer a little longer than we normally do, and the storm kind of whisked all that away, at least long enough to get us through a weekend that's, like I said, low humidity, low 70s for the high temperature, high 50s for the low temperature. So I think this is going to be perfect for the potential of some records to fall.
I'm telling you, some of the night qualifying sessions that we're poised to see, I think the Friday night qualifying session is going to be huge.
Yep.
I just have that feeling tomorrow night. And if you've never been to NHRA Friday night qualifying and you're in the Charlotte area this weekend, what are you doing if you don't go? Because I have done it 2 of the last 3 years, and the one Friday night session I missed, John Davison, who's a regular photographer at CMS, comes up to me and says, "What the heck are you doing missing the best passes of the weekend?" To which he was right, because they set some records that night.
Yep.
Night qualifying is an experience like no other. NHRA drag racing is an experience like no other.
Yeah.
But night qualifying, the speeds they put up, as they say, lighting the candles when you can see the flame trails out the headers as they go down the track. It's just exhilarating to watch. And tomorrow night, I think, is going to be something particularly cool, and I'm going to be excited to see who steps up to the plate. I know one driver, Cisco, who wants to step up to the plate, and I actually got to talk to him at a luncheon earlier today, a media luncheon at the Speedway Club. Tony Schumacher is fired up, knowing that the partnership with the U.S. Army is coming to an end. He's got 3 races left. He's only got 1 win this year, and yet he's 3rd in points, and he still, even being triple digits out, has a shot at dethroning Steve Torrence. He just knows it's going to take a lot of work. It's
a very almost Martin Truex situation in a way, because I'm seeing parallels there to where this is the last time he's going to be in this car.
Yes.
It's Tony Schumacher. He probably is going to find a ride outside of that car. Yeah, he'll be fine.
It's not that last time in that car, just that.
Oh, right, with that sponsor.
With U.S. Army, yeah.
So in that case, he'll be in that car next year. So what do you got to lose? Go out there, run a fast pass. Why not?
Tom, the big thing here is Tony said to me earlier today, we have to win all 3 races pretty much and have something bad happen to Torrance in at least one of them to have a shot at it. But the thing that I don't think even he took into account too much is the Auto Club Finals at Pomona, the last race of the year, runs on the same point scale as the U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis. It's 1.5 points. So there's 50% additional points on the table in that race per round and for a race win than there would be normally, which means you could still have up to, I think, 100. I think in order to clinch going into the last race of the year, Torrance would have to have a 175-point lead, I believe, is how that all shakes out. If you have all the bonus points and everything go your way, he'd have to have 175 points coming into the finals at Pomona to have clinched it. And I don't think he's going to get there. I really don't. I know he's got 102 right
103.
now? 103. I was one off. 103 over Clay Millican right now. But I could see Clay going out and winning this race this weekend. I really could.
Well, I could too. Clay runs well here. And, you know, this is exactly the type of situation in which he sort of comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
Just when you think that you don't have to think about him anymore, he's kind of too far back to make a run. Here he comes. And, you know, this is a guy that I think as we go forward into 19, we're going to talk about it even more because,
absolutely,
you know, but I agree with you. I think Clay definitely has a shot to win this weekend. And if he does, you know, it's game on here. I mean, I think this goes down right to the last race.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to screw up Cisco's point system here because he thinks we're going to go to Funny Car, and I'm actually going to save Funny Car for a little bit because coming up in our next segment, we're going to hear from one of the challengers for the Funny Car Championship in J.R. Todd. So I want to skip to Pro Stock right now and Cisco talk about the guy who is looking to leave the Pro Stock class a champion on his way to NASCAR. Tanner Gray picking up his 7th win of the season. Last time out in Dallas. He's got nearly 100 points on Vincent Nobile. It's his championship to lose. Can anybody step up and take it from him?
Well, forget me if I'm incorrect, but was there an announcement about – oh, no, it's Cody Coughlin who I was thinking of who's losing the sponsorship this year. Not Jig, obviously.
Right,
He's not going to be losing his sponsorship anytime,
I
hope.
Wrong Coughlin.
But nonetheless, it's once again, it's another case where you go to one of these tracks, and if you're on point and you have your stuff this weekend – any of these guys, you look at the top, 9 or 10 in the championship right now. Greg Anderson could go out, have a fantastic weekend. He could go out and win this race. Drew Skillman, Vincent Nobile, like you said, he's still within range.
Yes.
Drag racing, I love the fact that it's still one of the few series where if you have a good week, you can go out there and just win the whole darn thing. It doesn't matter if it's an intermediate track or
That's
a 2.5 mile.
Yeah.
It's still quarter mile at the end of the day, or a half mile, or whatever we're running.
1,000 foot for nitro, quarter mile for Pro Stock and Pro Stock bikes. But, Tom, the particulars of the Pro Stock class, the parity, it's been so tight in the Pro Stock car this year that literally any of these 10 countdown contenders can win. Greg Anderson can win. Jason Line can win. Bo Butner can win.
But think about this. This is potentially Tanner Gray's last start on his home track.
Oh, you better believe he wants to win
before he goes to NASCAR.
And he's the defending winner of this race.
So while you say that there's, 10 guys that can win, and you are absolutely correct, Tanner Gray has a little extra incentive to go out there and get the job done because this is it for him, at least for a good while. While he goes and does the NASCAR thing.
Yes.
This will be his final run here at the Dragway for a while. So he's going to want to defend that championship awfully hard.
Bikes. Ellie Tonglet took over the points lead with a win in Dallas.
Yes, he did.
The firefighter by day, race car driver by weekend, or drag racer by weekend. I love this story.
Me too.
He won the title as a rookie a few years back. Now he's back to try and do it again for Jerry Savoie, who is going to be cutting back his schedule. I almost feel like this is shaping up to be a Hollywood ending.
Well, it may well be, and this is where I was saying earlier, there are some surprises at the top of the points boards in some of the divisions, and I think Ellie Tonglin is a little bit of a surprise. Not the guy I would have expected to see up top this year, but certainly glad that he is, because he is, again, another one of those personalities you love to have.
Good old Southern boy.
Yeah, and again, the whole firefighter by day, racer by night, it's a great story. And, you know, the Pro Stock and the Pro Stock Bike for me are both very interesting divisions because of the personalities involved.
Yes.
And I don't think people respect those two classes as much as they should sometimes.
Correct. All right. We're going to take that note and go off to a break. When we return, I'm going to circle back to the funny car class. Robert Height leads it, but we're going to hear from the guy who's chasing him, J.R. Todd, right after this on Race Chaser Radio's Motorsports Madness. Stay with us.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing: making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ben Rhodes, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
And we're back.
We're back.
Jacob Zielman, Tom Baker, Cisco Scaramuza on Race Chaser Radio's Motorsports Madness. And we are talking NHRA drag racing, and we are going to get back to the funny car title battle that I purposely ignored during our last segment because, well, we have an interview in this one, so why not build around it? And this is fun for me right now because you've got Robert Height leading for John Force Racing in the Auto Club Camaro, and you've got J.R. Todd and the DHL Yellowfellas chasing in that Kalitta Motorsports Toyota Camry. 50 points or 3 rounds of racing separate the two of them. And, gosh, both cars right now, Tom, are performing at such a high level. It's like, which one's going to blink?
Yeah, and I don't I don't know if it's a matter of either of them blinking. I mean, I don't know what your definition of what that would look like is. I guess maybe which one's going to make the mental mistake.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
I mean, it could play out that neither of them really actually make a mental mistake, but one just has better luck or is better mechanically than the other or whatever. But I don't think J.R. Todd is out of this by any means.
Oh, no, I never even suggested he was.
No, I know you didn't. I'm just saying, I think, a 50-point 3-round lead is not, with 3 races left in the championship, is not that insurmountable. We all know that on any race weekend, somebody can just have disaster. And, it wouldn't take much for J.R. Todd to flip-flop this and put himself in front. I think this could be one of the more entertaining races to the end to watch, because I have the feeling we could see each of them get at least one more win before we're done.
And that would set up a real clash of the Titans,
yes.
I think, in the Auto Club Finals at Pomona coming up in November. So got the chance earlier this week to talk over the phone with JR about a multitude of things, including how crazy he thinks this weekend's race at ZMAX Dragway is going to be. And one of the big things he circled was the later placement in the countdown, and had that and a whole lot more to say.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling going into Charlotte as opposed to years past. With it's always an important race just because it's been the start of the countdown, and now, like you said, we're halfway through the countdown, so it's a really important race. And for us, I mean, we got to go in there and keep doing what we've been doing, and going to the late rounds. And actually, I mean, we're getting to the point now where we need Robert Hyde to go out early, and we need to go on and win the race just to kind of gain some of those points that we lost to him.
What is this battle between the two of you, especially the last couple of races? What's that been like? Because obviously you meet in the final last time out, and it just seems like, as you mentioned, every time you need a good day, it seems like he's been right there with you.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you got a car that's as good as his, I mean, you're not going to get a lot of help from the other competitors, just because they're one of the best performing teams out there, and they're the defending champs, and they're definitely showing why. And my team is they're running really well. Also, I feel like we got a car that can compete with them. It's just we keep meeting up in the final, and it's hard to stop the bleeding or make up ground on them when you're meeting in the late rounds like that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun up to this point. I mean, as a driver, this is all that you can ask, is to have a car that's as good as our DHL Toyota right now. And my guys are doing an awesome job preparing it, and Jono and Todd Smith are doing a great job making the tune-up decisions, and hopefully we can continue this trend for the next 3 races.
What has the last couple of years been like for you? Obviously, coming out of the top fuel class into funny car, and now to be hitting the stride and contending for a title the way you are, it's gotta, I imagine, in a way, feel like that everything the last couple of years since the transition has been building to this.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to look back and think. I mean, I never thought that I would be in this position battling for a championship in a funny car. I mean, I was always expected to do it in a top fuel dragster, and once this opportunity came about to drive a DHL car, I knew in my mind like this would be my best opportunity to contend for a championship. And last year was kind of a growing year for our team, just some different personnel changes, and me being new to the seat, and it took a little while for me to get comfortable driving the thing, and now I feel like things are just clicking at the right time for us. My second year behind the wheel, and yeah, like I said, as a driver, this is all you can ask for, is to be able to go out there and contend for a championship and not have to worry about anything but get in there and hit the gas and try and keep the thing straight down the track.
To win in a top fuel dragster and win in funny car, obviously it's not something that a lot of people in NHRA history have done. obviously I've never been there, so I'm kind of relying on your explanation here. But is there anything about piloting the two cars that takes a little bit of a different skill set when you talk about what it took in the Top Fuel car compared to what it takes in the funny car to be successful?
Absolutely. I mean, they both make the same amount of power, and looking at the engines and different parts and pieces, you would think that they're pretty similar, and you would drive them the same. But over the years of driving the dragster, just because of the long wheelbase, you build up these characteristics and habits as a driver to where it becomes second nature. Then you hop in a funny car that the wheelbase is a lot shorter than a dragster, and the engine's in front of you, and you have a body over top of you, and it's just a different mindset. You try to carry those characteristics over to the funny car. It just it doesn't work out. It takes time to get comfortable behind the wheel and just basically retrain yourself how to drive. It took me a while, and there's a frustrating point, in the year last year where I was just getting mad at myself for not doing what I thought was a good enough job, to where this year I've got enough laps under my belt in the funny car that I feel like I'm more than comfortable, can focus on other things inside the car, and I feel like it's paid off, and here we are contending for a championship now.
You mentioned that you didn't there was a time when you didn't expect to be doing this in a funny car, that for the longest time it was, you expected this in the Top Fuel car. Was there ever a point when this first started being discussed, was there a point where you second guessed, or you wondered if this transition was the right thing to do, or was there never a doubt for you when Kalitta Motorsports said, this is what we're thinking, that this was the right move?
No, I definitely didn't second guess the move, because these guys, they won a championship in 2015 with Delaware from driving. So I knew, like I said, that this would be what I thought was my best opportunity to contend for a championship. I mean, they know how to win. A lot of the guys are still intact with that team, and it's pretty much all the same equipment that's there when Dell was driving. We just kind of improved on what was there when he was driving. And the only thing that I wouldn't say I second guess, it's just I was getting frustrated at myself, because I feel like I knew that I was a better driver than what I was showing last year, early on in the year, just because I had never driven a funny car before. It just took some time to prove to myself and prove to others that I actually could get the job done driving a car. And now looking back, I'm definitely not second guessing myself for making the transition.
You've obviously recently come off getting, crossing the 100-win threshold for Kalitta Motorsports, helping with that goal. But I know Charlotte's obviously a very important place for you guys in NHRA. What would it mean to pick up a win this weekend? And then what makes it tricky, or what makes Charlotte unique to try and go and pick up a win at?
It would be huge if we could come out on a win. I mean, if we could put the next three races and win all three, I would think that we'd be holding the championship trophy there Sunday in Pomona. But yeah, we got to keep doing what we have been, and make good, consistent runs, and just race smart, and hopefully get some luck to fall our way, and maybe some of the other competitors could knock those guys out earlier, where we're not meeting up in the final round. But if we do meet in the final round, then we need to go out there and beat them, and that's just how it's got to be the next three races. But Charlotte, it can be really good. And looking at the weather for this weekend, it looks like it's going to be nice and cool and not too hot. So that's good for that place, because it's a newer facility with the concrete can be really good there early on in the track, and that's what these teams look for, so they can apply as much power as they can early in the run. And I fully expect to see some quick times and fast speeds there in Charlotte this weekend.
And I would argue that JR said exactly what we're all thinking is going to happen because of the conditions this weekend, Tom. But listening to him and really getting a chance to kind of soak in what the last 2 years have been like for him since transitioning over from Top Fuel. I mean, he jumped into a funny car, and after about half the season, looked like he had never missed a beat. That's what I like about him. He's become and shown that he can be very, very adaptable in the nitro divisions.
Well, not only adaptable, but just plain good. You know, he knows what he's doing, and, you know, I feel like, again, he's the kind of a driver that is going to give you a consistent performance. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He just gets the job done. He's not the flashiest or the most necessarily gregarious personality, though he's, as you heard, he's a very good interview and very entertaining. But, you know, it's just a driver that you can count on to consistently put you in the game, and that's I like JR for that reason. This is really going to be fun. I mean, JR talked about the weather just as we did, and I keep bringing that up because it's something we haven't had in a while, this kind of a perfect weather condition for this race.
Absolutely. Real quick, Cisco, one driver who we've not talked about that I want to give some props to because he's third in points right now and lurking should something happen. We talk about this being the year of the independents. How about Tim Wilkerson in that Levi Ray and Shoop funny car? To be third in points right now, that to me speaks volumes about how the sport's changed over the last year or so.
And it also speaks to kind of what we talked earlier about the fact that, you know, because you have these same track conditions, well, same type of track, it allows these teams, you can have independents come in and do really well here. And you can have guys go out and win Wallies who normally go, oh, hey, look, maybe they don't even run full season or something like that. But it's what it's the basicness of NHRA, which makes it work really well in the real world and makes it a lot of fun for people to be able to go out and watch. It makes it easy for people to go out and, you know, watch, take part in, and follow throughout the year.
Back with more Motorsports Madness here on Race Chaser Radio in a moment.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper cars, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Cole Custer, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
This would be our lightning round segment.
That's
where
correct.
We talk about a little bit of everything, and we're going to go grill some shrimp on the bobby. and go down under for a little bit. I can't do the Australian accent like James Pike. So I'm just going to give up and move on. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Cisco Scaramuza, and we're going to talk about the Bathurst 1000 for a minute because that happened over the weekend. And yes, Cisco, I know what you're going to tell me the story is, but I'm sorry. I'm a sap for Hollywood scripts, and before we talk about David Reynolds, I believe it is only right that we talk about the fact that in his final appearance at Bathurst on the mountain as a primary driver in the Supercars Championship, Craig Lowndes is the king once again.
It's his 7th one, isn't it?
Seven. And Tom, that's a big deal. Because he's second all-time behind only Peter himself.
Well, yeah. And, honestly, if you're even in that conversation, I'd say you've done all right. I don't know what the prerequisite is because I haven't been a Supercars fan long enough to know sort of who the Mount Rushmore would be.
I have been, don't worry.
But if you're in that conversation, you've done all right, and certainly Craig Lowndes has.
Yeah. When it comes to the Mount Rushmore of Supercars in general, there is, at this point, Peter Brock, Craig Lowndes, Jamie Whincup, and I would argue either Mark Skaife or Dick Johnson. But I would say, that's a toss-up right there. But as far as Bathurst, Brock, Lowndes, Larry Perkins, and Skaife, easy.
Yeah.
And Jim Richards is, somewhere in there as well. His longevity at the mountain, I think, was what made him so impressive. 24 years between the first of his 7 wins and the last of his 7 wins for Lowndes. It was 22 years back to his first win in 1996. But this one just, Cisco, it felt like it was destined, honestly. It just, something all week leading up to this told me, okay, there's going to be some magic here. And Craig went out and proved it.
And I thought it was going to be Scott McLaughlin who actually finished 3rd. So it's not like it's not like he had a bad day on the mountain.
No.
But when it comes down to the points, he didn't get too far away from Shane Van Gisbergen, who finished 5th. So if you're following along at the home, those are your 2 championship contenders, really, because those are the last 2 guys kind of in the fight. Jamie would have to basically go out and win every race and hope the other 2 take each other out the last 3 races. But your
I wouldn't
Super
say
Cup
all
points,
the last 3 races, but
yeah, but your
at least
Supercar points, nonetheless, comes down to, once again, in the final 3 races, 2 guys duking it out. How they do it without playoffs and completely organically befuddles me because I have no idea how they do that.
The answer is there's just that much competition. And what's interesting to me, Tom, in that Supercars points fight is you had, a year ago, it was the other 888 challenger, Jamie Whincup versus Scott McLaughlin.
Yep.
And McLaughlin, with a pit road violation, ended up giving it away, and Whincup took his 7th title. This year, it's Shane Van Gisbergen going for his 2nd championship. And yet again, here's this young kid on Penske's squad who qualifies and qualifies and qualifies, and God knows if he ever manages to close out a championship, I feel like he could rip off about 4 of them right in a row.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, and here again, I think that time is coming.
You better believe it. I think that time is coming.
If you can stay close that many times, eventually it's going to fall for you.
Yes.
And I feel like that time is coming for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for Penske too as an organization.
Oh, sure.
I mean, the fact that they've been this close already, this soon into their Supercars tenure, number one, it shows how big an impact Roger Penske has had over there, just the influx of resources and really how Roger and Tim Cindric and everybody have helped restructure that team into what it is right now. Not that Dick Johnson Racing before wasn't
I was
going to
say, because it wasn't like they started from scratch.
No.
It was a competitive team before
and Dick
Penske
Johnson
got there.
Racing, yes, was competitive. It was not championship caliber.
Right.
But Roger Penske took it, streamlined some things, and made it championship caliber. And I, as Roger does, year after year after year, with everything that he does, he doesn't put his fingers on something that he doesn't believe is going to have long-term success. And I think we're seeing that.
Yeah, also absolutely, and I'd say the other guys who are doing a very good job who finished second in the Bathurst 1000, Andretti with Waukesha Andretti United finished second out there. That's a brand new team.
Well, I wouldn't say brand new because, again, Michael Andretti kind of did what Roger did. He came in and bought a stake in an existing team.
Yep.
And Ryan Walkinshaw's group was the original Holden Racing team.
Right.
I mean, they were absolutely no slouches, and they've won championships in the past down in Australia. So, if anything, I'm surprised it's taken the Waukesha Andretti United team this long to find the speed that they found. But Scotty Pye did a tremendous job. Warren Luff, obviously, is a tremendous veteran of Supercars Championship racing and has been really at the top of his game in the co-driver's role for a while. I expected them to do well, and to see them on the Bathurst podium, great mark for them, and I hope to see that continue because I think we really ought to see them back in victory lane a whole lot more here in the years and races to come than what we have up to now. And in all fairness, they've been good this year, but I don't think they've been tremendous, shall we say. Now the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Cisco wanted to get to this first. I made him wait, but those dastardly cramps bit David Reynolds. Yeah. And for a team, an Erebus Motorsport team that should have won the great race, heartbreak and a ninth place finish is nothing compared to what they should have been because this team dominated this race.
They could have won. They should have won.
And they
really, when I say they should have won this race. They were the fastest people out there by miles. But we talk about it, and it's always a topic that comes up in not just in our show, but in the global news in general. Race car drivers, they're not athletes, blah, 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 blah. That all comes up.
Bull crap.
Here's a perfect example. David talked about the fact coming into the weekend, it was in the corner of his mind. I'm not as 100% as I should be. I'm not as hydrated as I should be. I'm not taking care of myself as best as I could. And he talked about in post the fact that was always one of his weaknesses as a driver was the fact he wasn't ready to go out or he wasn't keeping himself in good enough health to be able to do these long races. And unfortunately for him, and he kind of knew that this weekend might be the case, he just didn't act on it, and it bit him.
Yeah, he did. It's disappointing, too, especially for a team that actually picked up a win earlier this season at Darwin in round 16 of the championship. I mean, Reynolds has had a good year, just not perhaps a tremendous year. So now Supercars goes into the final race of the 3-race Enduro Cup. They have the Gold Coast 600, which is actually 2 300-kilometer races coming up on the Gold Coast, not this coming weekend, but the following, so October 20th and 21st. And after that, just 2 races to go. A doubleheader at Pukekohe in November, and then the finale at Newcastle on what for us would be Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes, that's correct.
So that's a little bit there, and obviously the Bathurst 1000 has a lot of global implications and very much followed certainly in this country as well as back in their homeland in Australia. And we love anytime we get to talk about supercars on this show. We don't get to do it enough anymore. And the Mustang, which needs to be coming and will be coming, and I'm excited about that.
It looks awesome.
It really does. It's going to be great. So, all right, with that, let's get into a little lightning round conversation while we still have a few minutes to do that. And I'm going to start with the proverbial, I don't have a hat to throw scraps of paper into, and we toss them up and somebody pulls one out of the air. But pull one out of the air. Who wins on Sunday for the Cup race at Talladega? Tom.
Well, let's see. You know what? I've got a very funny feeling this time because this is a situation where you just have a recipe for a Hail Mary. I called Jimmy Johnson at the Roval because I thought that was the perfect situation
and
for
he
a Hail
almost
Mary.
Proved you right.
And he might have proved me right, but he just got a little bit too happy with the gas pedal.
And the brake bias was a little off.
And the brake bias was a little off. So, that didn't work out as planned. And I could see a similar thing happening here, except for one thing. Basically, right now, the Fords are the hot hand. And I know it's Talladega, but I can't bet against the Ford.
Why would you? They've
however,
won 7 of the last 8 races there.
That's correct. I am, however, not picking Brad Keselowski because that's the 2-inch limb. The Ford I'm picking is actually out of the same stable, but it's got a 1 in front of it. Ryan Blaney wins Talladega on Sunday.
And goes 2 for 3.
Exactly.
You know what? See, I like that because he was the dominant car in the Daytona 500 in February before getting caught up in the big one there late in the race. So I could absolutely see that happening. I, however, famously, for my 2-inch limbs, will gladly...
He's picking Keselowski.
Yes. I will gladly take Brad Keselowski. Why? Number 1, because I can. Number 2, because when Brad Keselowski needs to advance to the 3rd round of the playoffs, he just goes out and wins Talladega.
Yeah.
He's got a good points number right now to do it anyways, but screw advancing on points. It's all about winning. And I believe that 2 car will do what it's become famous for in the fall plate race at Talladega, and that's go to the front and then be able to defend both lanes successfully. Oh, by the way, this is the last time we're going to see restrictor plates at Talladega. Keep that in mind, too, for Sunday.
Yeah, it's because we have them at Daytona for that plate race back in February when we go there. But after that, it's a completely new ball game.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Tapered spacers and big spoilers and all that. Anyway, Cisco, who wins Sunday?
By the way, if Chris Murdoch were here, we know he would pick Joey Logano.
I was just going to make that point.
So are you going to pick Chris Murdoch's pick and pick Joey Logano?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to see how much room there's left on the 2-inch limb because I'm going to join it with you. I'm sorry. Brad K. in the fall Talladega race. The magic. I don't know how he makes that race. Somehow skill ability, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But Brad K., he just gets it.
Storyline, though, to watch is the 48 for the rest of the season. Because at this point,
they have nothing to do but
pressure's
go win.
off. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they're out of the playoffs. They know that they're not going to be together after this year.
Yes.
So at this
point, and they have a streak to uphold.
It's all about winning a race. And you know, again, I don't know about Talladega, but I certainly think that before
Talladega,
the
Martinsville, Texas.
Martinsville would be the track, I think, that Jimmy could go
absolutely.
and get it done. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the truck series. And
let's go trucking.
Yes, and this is big. Why? Because it's an elimination race. Who are your 2 drivers that get bumped from the playoffs? And they're going to rush really quickly and try to get to points. So I'm actually
it's been a while.
It has been a while. I'm actually going to start with this because I already have an inkling of where this is going to go. Number 1, Stuart. Tom has cup. Stuart Friesen is going to be the first driver I think gets eliminated from the Camping World Truck Series playoffs because he can't avoid bad luck. Just saying. And I'm going to shock some people here with the other driver that I think is going to be eliminated because his points margin is just not safe. Shocker alert, Brett Moffitt.
Really?
Gets crashed out and misses the round of 6.
Oh, gets crashed out.
Wow. You're being very specific.
I believe he's swept up in a crash and misses the round of 6 as a result. Tom.
Interesting. Okay. I have no faith in Stuart Friesen. I have even less faith in Matt Crafton.
Oh, wow.
There's your 2.
Hey, so I'll give a little thing that Tom didn't know about before he said that. I believe, Cisco, all the Thor Sports are going to be running bona fide Roush Yates engines in those cars, not the NT1s this weekend, and those Roush Yates horsepower, scary on the restrictor plate tracks.
And the other thing is they're all Thor Sport trucks, so they're probably all going to try and work together.
Teammates.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I know it's an elimination race.
Grant Enfinger's already in, so Matt Crafton and Ben Rhodes can draft to the front together, finish 1-2, and be okay.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I got to go. Man, I don't want to say JJ.
He won, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about
that. Haley and Enfinger in.
Okay, so, wow. If I'm not picking Thor Sport and I'm not picking JJ and I've kind of on the same boat with them with Stuart Friesen. I guess I am picking Brett Moffitt, aren't I?
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about. They're only 18 points to the good. That is not safe at Talladega.
But
even Noah Gragson is not safe at 23 up if he gets crashed.
This is the exact type of stage in which Brett Moffitt shows up with 2 to go, takes the lead, and wins.
No, because Parker Kligerman's going to do that again.
True. Parker Kligerman is in this
He
race
doesn't need
this
to
weekend.
win, but I mean, I'm just saying. I don't. If nothing happens, Brett Moffitt easily makes it through to the next round.
In fairness, that was my last lightning round bullet here. Put a percentage on the chance that Parker Kligerman wins for the 3rd time at Talladega this weekend.
20.
I was going to say 100, but no. I'm going to go 60%.
I'm going to go with his truck number because I believe in PK.
75%
chance Parker Kligerman upsets the apple cart and wins Talladega.
And we get
for
another
the
great
3rd
interview.
time. And we will get another great interview.
It'll go on for days.
Because he's Parker Kligerman, and that's why. That just happened.
You know what has to happen, though?
What?
Regan Smith and Parker Kligerman need to race each other at one point. We see which broadcasting company has the better driver analyst.
Yes. Hey, so what happens if both Parker and Regan win this weekend? It is Talladega.
I guess
that would break the
maybe
internet.
we should put DW back in it. No,
If
don't do that.
If Regan wins, Cato, New York will look like a hurricane went through it on Tuesday morning. Even the cows will be going crazy.
All right, we're back to say goodbye in just a moment here on Motorsports Madness.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas and get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
All right, we have about a minute and 32 seconds before we have to say goodbye. So really quickly, looking at the truck entry list, things I love and attention to detail. Todd and David Gilliland are both driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports this weekend. They could draft to the front, but they're both sponsored by Pedigree. Todd Gilliland's is Pedigree Puppy Chow. David Gilliland is Pedigree Dog Chow. I love it, Tom. I love it.
It's great. I mean, just think of the dog-related linguistic things we could do with headlines on that one. Todd is 18, though, so
yes.
I mean, he's kind of old to be a puppy, but I still get it. It works.
It's great, and I think it's cool to see, we don't know if this is David's last start at a NASCAR National Series event. If it is, hey, he gets to go out racing his son and in a competitive truck, and who doesn't love that?
And, I mean, you still have that opportunity of them drafting together maybe to the finish one, too. What a storyline would that be? What an interview that would be if they got it.
Yes,
absolutely.
Or
Goodness.
if we got it,
well,
call us, guys.
There is that, too. So as we approach the end of this show, I can't say enough. Fast. I know it did. It went by way too fast for my liking. We loved having Christian Eckes back in here, and we certainly wish he and KBM the best of luck as Christian gets set to get back behind the wheel at Martinsville coming up in a couple of weeks. And in addition, thank our partners at Telemed Benefits and HMS Motorsport for what they do to support Race Chaser Radio. And good grief, I don't want it to end. Why do we have to go away? Why can't we have like a third hour or something? I feel like there's so much more to get to.
For the future.
Yes, we need to work on that. That'll be fun.
A post-show show.
Hey, shout out behind the glass in the tech shed. Randy Miller's done a great job punching buttons and making it happen here. So we thank Randy. And right now, for Tom Baker and Cisco Scaramuza, I'm Jacob Zillmer, reminding you to keep it off the wall. And if you are headed to a racetrack somewhere this weekend, if you look hard enough, we might just see you there. Have a safe racing weekend, folks, till we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness with the Race Chaser Online crew. Stay tuned to Performance Motorsports Network for more race talk. For the latest motorsports news, visit racechaseronline.com. Motorsports Madness is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network, www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. A member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section in the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-hosts, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week when the madness returns on Monday night at 7 Eastern. Until then, keep it off the wall and keep the shiny side up.